Broadcasting from the great state of Texas. News and views with a Lone Star perspective. You can sound off during the show by sending Chad a text at 806-680-2790. That's 806-680-2790. Or call in at 1-800-687-0790. Now, here's Chad Hasty.
Wait a minute. Chad Hasty's out. It's Steve Evans.
A Monday warrior, mean stride. Today's Tom Sawyer, mean pride.
West Texas. From Amarillo to Lubbock, I forgot where I was at. From Dallas to Florida to wherever. All of you listening, the millions listening around the world. Welcome to the Chad Hasty Show. Steve Evans hanging out with you this evening. It's Friday, absolutely, and attention deficit Friday at that. It is. Absolutely. It's time. I'm ready. Anything you want to talk about, 806-680-2790. It is the number to text the show. A lot of different directions we could go. I've been following the Artemis thing and watching the press conference and really geeking out a little bit too much over it. But best I can tell from the press conferences that sometime around 1:30 tomorrow, not tomorrow, 1:30 on Monday is when the vessel is going to be within. They're gonna stay up at like 4,100 miles above the Earth's the moon's surface. That's where they're going to pass, and they're going to take all their pictures. They're going to take all of their visuals, all of that. They're going to pass on Monday. So I don't know. They can't tell me, or they didn't answer the question very well. If you saw some other information, because there's tons out there. I mean, everybody's got some account of this, but there's a lot of information, but nobody can. I can't tell. Yeah, I'm sidetracked trying to fix that. I'll just tell everybody, Nick. I'm working on a different audio setup. We've been playing. It's an experiment, and it works really good. It's got a lot of neat features. I can make myself sound like Barry White. I can go to Barry White mode. We might do that. That's kind of fun. Anyway, Nick's playing with levels. I'm really messing with him because if I leave everything alone, everything's fine, right? But I mess with it. I can't leave it alone. And so now Nick's trying to figure out what's going on. Anyway, Mike's really sensitive. But I don't know if we're going to get any live feed or not, and they're not sure either. I mean, they're using a deep space network to communicate, and we're getting a lot of live pictures coming off the vessel, off of the vehicle. They call it a vehicle. The vehicle off the vehicle, getting some great pictures of the Earth. We got to listen to the audio of. They played some music for him this morning. They woke him up to some music, kind of cool. But I don't know. It's kind of geeking out over this whole thing. It's really cool. I just hope they find something. What happens if and we wouldn't be going if all the lunar landings were fake? There's all those conspiracy theorists out there. There's conspiracy theorists out there that you can find them on social media. They're really fun to mess with. They are convinced that the lunar landings never happened, and they're convinced that this is a hoax. Doesn't matter what images they bring back, they're going to be faked. This is the government covering its tracks, saying, see, it really is there, but it's fake too. It's a deep fake. That's what they're going to claim. Crazy people. But I want to see the pictures. I think it's Apollo 12. I was going to check on that. Somebody told me it was Apollo 12, that landing site that they're going to be able to see. We'll see. Anyway, keeping an eye on that. A lot of other things going on, but love to hear from you. Anywhere you want to go. It is an Attention Deficit Friday for sure. I guarantee you I can be very easily sidetracked today. It'll take nothing to do it. 806-680-2790. So I was ranting about UPS yesterday, and it gets worse. So come to find out, we were talking about the backpack. This backpack is like the most expensive backpack I have ever purchased, and it got worse today. I'm going to flip over here to this email because I need to reference it here. Because this weird random email address, turns out it's a person, and it has to do, the email address actually tracks with their name. It's a real person. So her name is, her name is Allison. So I converse with Allison today. I'm like, this can't be right. It's too expensive. It's well over 50% of the cost of the backpack for these tariffs and everything. So she comes back and she says, well, it's correct. So there's 17. So come to find out, the backpack's actual origin is China. Doesn't matter that I got it out of Australia. They have to put the place that it was made, where its actual manufacturing origin, China. And I'm going to tell you right now, let me be your guinea pig. Don't buy anything out of China. If it's got a Chinese origin, just don't buy it right now. Sorry, China. They'll try to hack us in a minute and knock us offline. Don't buy anything from China because it's expensive. So right now, there was 3 different tariffs that are assessed on Chinese goods. This is a backpack, folks, a nylon backpack. So the actual product code, and you have to go out and find this NMFC, QR, PDUF, whatever code. It's a freight code that everything's classified by. So the backpack has a 4202 blah, 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 you don't care code on it. And so I have to pay 17.6% on that code. The codes from China are like anywhere from 7 to 25%. It just depends on what it is. And then there's this Section 122 import surcharge that's current, and that's 10%. And then there's a Section 301 25% tariff that's on top of that. So the backpack, this awesome backpack is $122 in tariffs, and I paid $203 for the backpack. And I thought she was crazy. And so, of course, I start to go do Google investigation, right? I'm going to figure this out. What's going on? No way this is right. Oh, it turns out it is. I found all the articles. There is a temporary Donald Trump 150 day. This extra 25% is because he said so. Tariff. Now, I get it. I understand what the tariffs do. I understand what he's trying to do. And I'm trying to be on board with it. But the problem is I'm paying this. If it's just me buying something off of eBay, why are we punishing the American people? It's our money is paying for this. Do you think this is hurting China? They already sold it. They sold it somewhere else. And if they sold it to the United States and then Australian guy buys it from the United States and brings it into Australia and then turns around and eBays it back to, I don't know where it's been, I'm assuming he ordered them from the manufacturer. Maybe he got them directly shipped from China to him. I don't know. But as far as I'm concerned, it might be new in the box, but it's not new because it's passed through and now it's an eBay store. Is that really new? I wish he'd have cut the tags off, kicked it around a little bit, called it used. I don't know if that would have saved any tariffs because it's a new product. But at some point, this is supposed to cause a reaction, right? Isn't things supposed to get better? Isn't this supposed to trigger something? Because right now, it's just me paying. My business uses a lot of foreign products. Sorry, Germans make really good stuff. They're kind of the leaders in hydraulics and power transmission and things like that. And it's hurting us really bad. We're paying a lot of tariffs. And it's not like the company that you're buying it from, they're shipping it and they're putting it tariff collect, basically. It's like COD. So they ship it, you pay them, you pay the shipping charges, and then you get another invoice from the freight company or the brokerage or whoever clears it from customs. You get another bill that you pay them directly to pay for the tariffs that they then pay to the federal government. the company that's sending it in, they don't even touch it. It's not really affecting them. All it's supposed to do is, I guess, best I can understand here is it's supposed to hurt the American people where they won't do business with them anymore, to force those countries to create better trade agreements, reciprocal trade agreements, or force those companies to move into the United States. I don't know. The companies we're doing business with, they're not coming over here. They're from that country. We're not going to find some of them are the best. They're real niche markets. They're the best at what they do. There's not somebody that makes a better product. So what do you do in that case? There should be some way to apply for a tariff exemption. There's not a comparable product in the United States, and there's not going to be, because there's not a big enough market for it to be made everywhere. I don't know. That needs, in my opinion, that needs to happen. There needs to be a way to apply for a tariff exemption on a product that's never going to be made in the United States. Instead, we're having to pay tariffs on it. And I don't see that it's going to do anything. I mean, I'm all for the bigger picture. I think it's great. But I want to buy a Chinese backpack without paying another 55% on top of that. I wish they'd have just put the tariffs up. I wouldn't have bought it. I wouldn't have bought it if it's going to be $350 for a backpack. Wouldn't have done it. Nick wouldn't have done it either. Nope. No backpack is that good. And it's not even leather. It's nylon. It's just neat. It's a cool backpack. Anyway, let's take a break. Chad Hasty Show, 806-680-2790. Back in a moment.
The Chad Hasty Show can be heard all over West Texas. Weekdays from 5 to 7 p.m. Tune into News Talk 95.1 and 790 KFYO in Lubbock. News Talk 940 in Amarillo. News Talk 94.7 and 1470 KYYW in Abilene. And in Wichita Falls on News Talk 96.3 and 1290. The Chad Hasty Show. Make it a part of your drive home. Weekdays from 5 to 7 p.m.
How serious is youth vaping? Irreversible lung damage serious. 1 in 10 kids vape serious, which warrants a serious conversation from a serious parental figure like yourself. Not the seriously know-it-all sports dad or the seriously smart podcaster. It requires a serious conversation that is best had by you. No, seriously, the best person to talk to your child about vaping is you. To start the conversation, visit talkaboutvaping.org. Brought to you by the American Lung Association and the Ad Council.
Tune in to Shooter on the Law with Lubbock lawyer Cole Shooter every Saturday morning from 10 to 11 on KFYO. Have questions about future estate planning that benefits the entire family? How about the ongoing struggle with scammers dealing with cryptocurrency? Find the answers to all your legal questions from a licensed attorney in the state of Texas with Cole Shooter and Shooter on the Law, Saturday mornings at 10 on News Talk 95.1 and 790 KFYO.
All right, if you find yourself, you're one of those people trapped in those horrible timeshares, and it's almost and feels almost impossible to get out of this. Now, that is why the only timeshare exit company that I endorse, they've been with us over a decade, I love this family-owned business, is LoneStarTransfer.com. They treat you with respect. They tell you the truth. They create a customized exit plan for your specific situation. And then lastly, their team will execute it all start to finish with professionalism, and they guarantee results. No more stress. You get peace of mind. Call my friends at Lone Star Transfer today. Now, call now. It's 833-594-0075 and get your free case review. That's 833-594-0075, or check them out on the web at LoneStarTransfer.com. Tell them your friend Sean Hannity sent you.
Has anybody told you about Coast to Coast AM tonight?
Coast to Coast is one of those programs that deals with strange mysteries. We'll look at Bigfoot. We'll look at UFOs. We'll look at real science. And we'll also look at conspiracies and what it all means to you, the listeners of Coast to Coast AM.
It's the best in overnight talk radio. Coast to Coast AM.
Coast to Coast AM with George Norrie. Tonight at midnight on KFYO. Securing America.
During a recent discussion with the Center for Strategic and International Studies, the Chief of Naval Operations, Admiral Darrell Caudle, was asked about the impact of Operation Epic Fury on the Navy. He acknowledged there is a question of concern.
How do you buy down risk in other parts of the world while you're focusing, a lot of resources in one area?
Admiral Caudle admitted there is a tangible effect on the weapons stockpile, which grows as Epic Fury continues, and cited what he called the outstanding effort from the crew of the aircraft carrier, the USS Gerald R. Ford.
You're going to see a record-breaking deployment by Ford. There will probably go into the 11th month of deployed operations. For those that are not in the Navy, that's an extraordinary thing.
However, Admiral Caudle says no matter what challenges come up, they will be met.
We're built for that. This is what we do for a living.
Kevin Uretsky, Fox News.
Welcome back to the Chad Hasty Show. 806-680-2790 is the number to reach the show. If you want to send us a text, got a couple. Hollywood. Made in China. What did you say? Oh, you sent me a picture. I'm going to assume is it a backpack? It says China made bulletproof. I don't know. The pictures filter out, Hollywood. I don't want your viruses. Don't want that stuff, but you didn't put how much it is. Eric says, look at it this way, Steve. You have 56% more bragging rights than the rest of us, known as a guy that paid as much in tariffs as a bag is worth. And bag's probably not worth that. Happy bag. The whole deal is, it's part of a matching set. It's pretty neat. I've got, it's what I needed to complete the whole luggage set. And it's just cool. I'm like, my wife says I'm a luggage snob. I'm a bag snob. I have a lot of luggage. I'm set up for all different kinds of travel. I'm a travel master, if you will. I've even got one of these bags. I haven't even used it yet. They didn't make them for very long, but it's got these great big wheels on it. They're like 6 or 7 inches in diameter. Great big old wheels. It's kind of cool. It maneuvers. I mean, you can pull that thing around anything. It maneuvers really, really easy. Yeah, Nick, I think that's better too. We're still messing with settings. It's getting better. We're going to get it. It's going to sound awesome. And then I'll turn the Barry White voice on. We really got it together. We can do that too. Anyway, luggage is cool. It was a startup, and so I've got them. I have a lot of different bags. And now my wife has a rule. It's a new rule that says if I'm going to buy a piece of luggage, I have to get rid of a piece of luggage. Yeah, I mean, it's probably a good idea, Got some older stuff that's, I don't know why I'm still nursing it. And there's no market for used luggage. Nobody, I mean, you can throw this stuff in a garage sale for $3, but who wants to have a garage sale? I'd have to have a garage sale to sell it. Not worth my time. Anyway, zippers get a little bit messed up. It gets a little dented. Wheels start to get a little wide. It's off the list. And then I have a spot for another piece of luggage. But my deal now is, I do a lot of quick turnaround where I just need to pack, and man, I mean, I can even pack for. I've got a really cool garment bag. It's a carry-on garment bag, and I've gotten 3 suits in this thing before. You really got to sit on it and zip it up tight, but it'll hold it. It's carry-on, fits in the overhead. It's really cool. But I've gotten where if I'm not going to travel, if it's going to be a couple of days, especially if it's going to be a blue jean and t-shirt kind of thing, man, it's carry-ons. I don't check like everybody. Southwest, it's not even cheap to fly Southwest anymore. It's not the Greyhound of the skies. They're trying to be the new high-end airline. Got to pay for your bags. You all know this. I mean, we've ranted and raved about it, but they're making it even worse. It just keeps getting worse and keeps getting worse. The latest problem with Southwest that I'm hearing about is the way their assigned seating system works. They've still got it screwed up. And mainly because they have different, it's a complete 737 fleet, but they have different versions, 600s, 700s, 800s, and those have different numbers of seats. And if they have a plane goes down and they have to do an equipment change, and they swap it with a plane that has less seats, it messes up all the prepaid seats. There's been stories of people that have, they've bought their tickets, bought their seats, grouped their families together or business trips or put them all together. They get there and like, oh, we're going to reissue your boarding passes. And they're all sitting in middle seats. And they paid for much better. They paid for much more premium seats. The middle seats are not premium. And then Southwest not willing to issue refunds according to them. Of course, it's always going to be, they might have got, who knows? But it's not any cheaper now. And it's not any better. So if you're going to pay all that money, you're getting close to, I'm not even going to tell you my travel hack, but there's a travel hack where you can fly first class on American most of the time if you do it right, especially if you're carrying a lot of luggage and stuff like that. There's a way. One of these days, if you beg, we might. Nick, what was the contest we were going to do? We thought about it last week, and I can't remember what it was. It just occurred to me. We were going to come up with something. It was going to be images. It was the superhero pose, wasn't it? People had to send in the power pose. We didn't do it because we were gonna have to set up somebody, the place to tweet their pictures to. Okay, that'll be coming up down the road. Hollywood chimes back in. Every year I buy 2 bulletproof backpacks for kids to take to school. Keep you posted on. Well, that's pretty cool, Hollywood. Actual bulletproof backpacks. So what do they run you? I mean, you're keeping me posted on. What do they run you to do that? And why? What do you? So they can hide behind it if there's a school shooting or something. It's a cool deal. I'm not knocking it. I'm not making fun of it. Just curious what got you into that. Eric says, if you ever pull a bank job, you'll be my bag man. I've got plenty of stuff to hold the money in. We can throw suitcases at them and just tell them, fill them up. Got really good, nice suitcases that you can escape real quick with them. Absolutely. But, the best is just old school Navy sea bags. Eric, you just throw a Navy sea bag and just tell them to fill it up. $200 a piece for each backpack. Is that after tariffs? Sounds like we need to go in the bulletproof backpack business. $200. That's similar to what I paid. So the time you pay Chinese tariffs, that's another $122. So you're looking at $230, $330 backpack. Is that it? Or are they $207 after tariffs? Nick said we'll take a rain check on the power pose. I guess we didn't get it set up. I forgot all about it. I think it would have been cool. Everybody's tweeting in their power pose. We would have had to put an example, like we just look at Superman when he puts his hands on his hips and he, kind of turns one side forward and pushes out his chest and you kind of look to the sky. Power pose works, proven, statistically proven to make your day better. You should be doing it every day. I do in the mirror. Power pose. Let's see. Back to Hollywood. $207 each. You said the same thing that you did in the last text. Nothing new from Hollywood there. I'm just messing with you, man. Don't take it personal, Hollywood. It's going to be okay. All right, time for news and weather. Yeah, I messed with it. News and weather. We're going to let's do it in there right at the end. Let me check something, see if that does it. That actually made it probably a lot more rich. Anyway. We're just messing with gear today. You're our guinea pigs as we mess with gear. News and weather will be back with more Chad Hasty Show. Stick around.
The Chad Hasty Show, weekdays 5 to 7 p.m. Sound off during the show by sending Chad a text at 806-680-2790.
When I'm driving, I look twice for motorcycles.
I look twice because motorcycles are easy to miss.
I look twice just in case a motorcycle's in my blind spot.
I look twice at intersections and before I turn left.
I look twice because I want to know for sure.
I look twice for motorcycles because I don't want to hurt anyone.
Look twice for motorcycles. There's a life riding on it. A message from Texas Department of Transportation.
My mom has taken up going to the park to practice yoga.
My dad's going to a club, but not a book club, a salsa club.
Finding new hobbies comes with age.
My mom has started getting lost and not knowing where she's going.
Becoming lost or disoriented doesn't. Confusion with time or place may be a sign of Alzheimer's. An early diagnosis can help improve the quality of life for your loved one. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
TSN headlines: a rare matchup between two sitting members of Congress going to a runoff in Texas in May. 18th Congressional District in Houston, Congressman Al Green faces Congressman Christian Menefee. Redistricting put both men in the same district. Storm activity Thursday included reports of tornadoes between Austin and College Station. The Lee County Emergency Management Office Facebook page says there was an EF0 near Giddings. A 2-year-old toddler had surgery today after being shot by a 4-year-old boy. It happened in a home in Channelview. Police say 7 adults were in the home. It's likely the gun was accessible to the kids in another room. Wichita Falls issuing a reminder for their residents they don't endorse or recommend anybody. They say city maintains no partnerships, does not approve or promote specific service providers. NCAA Women's Final Four tonight. Texas Longhorns take on UCLA. And with your Texas news headlines, I'm Barbara Schwartz.
Hurt in a car or truck wreck? Call Frankel & Frankel first. Mark and Scott Frankel, the go-to car and truck wreck attorneys in Texas, have been fighting for your rights for over 25 years. Before becoming personal injury lawyers, they defended insurance companies, so they know all the tricks and tactics insurers use to deny your claim. Trust the experienced, family-owned, and highly awarded Frankel & Frankel to put you first and get the resolution you deserve. And remember, it's a felony for an attorney to reach out to you directly or indirectly via third parties within the first 30 days after an accident. During this period, an attorney may only send a letter. Frankel & Frankel make it easy. From the free consultation to the very first phone call, they handle everything with no out-of-pocket costs. They only get paid when you win. If you or a loved one has been injured, reach out to Frankel & Frankel today at frankelfirm.com. That's FRENKEL firm.com. Principal Office, Dallas, Texas.
Lubbock's Uplinks weather forecast. The temperatures on this Friday evening are dropping into the middle to upper 40s. Scattered showers or a thunderstorm will continue through at least midnight as temperatures will move once again into the upper 60s on Saturday behind a cool front that's going to start our weekend just a bit cool. And introducing the new Sonic refreshers made with real fruit, I'm meteorologist Ron Roberts on Lubbock's official weather station, News Talk KFYO.
Financial news on KFYO.
I'm Dan Oney with Your Money Now. Wall Street is closed today for the Good Friday holiday. It'll reopen on Monday, but this past week was one of the best in quite some time for Wall Street, with all three indexes up at least 3%. SpaceX is going to delay the next test flight of its Starship V3 vehicle till May. The news came from Elon Musk in a post on X. The launch has been delayed for months as the company was adding upgrades to make it more reliable and suitable for NASA missions. The U.S. is doubling its commitment to provide reinsurance guarantees for ships that try to go through the Strait of Hormuz. New insurance partners like AIG and Berkshire Hathaway and others have been added to the mix. The goal is to ease concerns of ship owners worried about potential attacks from Iranian assets. And the spot price for Brent crude oil for current physical cargoes reached its highest level since the 2008 financial crisis. According to S&P Global, which tracks the data, the price hit $141.36. That's Your Money Now.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Nothing but net. Nice shot. Man, I miss playing basketball. Ever since I turned 40, I just can't find that fire I used to have.
Think it could be lower testosterone?
Lower testosterone?
Yeah, men just lose their edge after 40. The body has less testosterone. That's why I take Nugenix Total T2.
Nugenix, the testosterone booster.
Yes, but Total T2 is their brand new formula. It skyrockets nitric oxide levels in as little as 3 hours and boosts your body's free and total testosterone in just 2 weeks. Since I started taking it, my energy is way up. I feel like I did back when we played for Coach Mack, and it's even spiced things up with my wife.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try?
Yep, send a text. It's that easy.
Text TOWER to 215-215 for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T2. Text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, our newest, most powerful fat burner ever. Absolutely free. Text TOWER to 215-215. That's TOWER to 215-215.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Hey, it's Ben Ferguson, and you can catch me every Sunday as I join the Senator on Verdict with Ted Cruz from 11 to noon. Then stay tuned for the Ben Ferguson Show, Sunday evenings at 6, where I discuss the latest in U.S. politics from overseas conflicts to immigration. All this and more right here on News and Talk of West Texas. News Talk 95.1 and 790 KFYO.
The News and Talk of West Texas. News Talk 95.1 and 790 KFYO.
It's the Chad Hasty Show.
Hey, welcome back to the Chad Hasty Show. Steve Evans hanging out with you, 806-680-2790. Like to send a message. Got a few. Let me see. Hollywood says that 207 price was before tariffs. Yeah, you're going to pay about $125, $30 for tariffs if they're from China. From China. Everything from China. High tariffs. Okay. 236. You're missing a few words in your text here, I think. I went on a trip to D.C. a couple of weeks ago. First off, it was super clean and safe. Feel unsafe once. I'm assuming you're saying you didn't feel unsafe once. Or I'm just not seeing the whole thing. Let me see here. Let me make this window a little bit. Oh, there we go. Didn't feel unsafe once. It's all there. Sorry. Went all over the subways, buses, etc. The subway system is great in D.C. Flew American for the first time in years, so with much emphasis, so much better than Southwest. Southwest feels like a third world country. It does. And it didn't used to be that way. And, you know, part of it is, I think my personal observation, this is all it is, take it for what it's worth. I feel like the flight attendants on Southwest used to be so much more fun. Southwest is always the one that they would joke around with you. You know, we didn't plan on losing cabin pressure today. If we did, we wouldn't have come to work. I mean, they joke around. You know, it's kind of funny in their pre-brief. Americans just shoot anymore. They just play an audio deal. You have to listen to some "Welcome to American Airlines. Please fasten your seatbelts" kind of thing. You know, it's just stock, and they just stand up there and go through the motions. It's really weird. But Southwest they were fun. They were energetic. It was, you know, you were getting pushed on there like cattle, but you could sit where you want. It was kind of cool. Sit where you want. Didn't worry about assigned seats. The only thing you had to stress about was getting a low boarding pass. You wanted that low boarding pass. You could sit closer to the front of the plane, and there was plenty of room in the overhead. And overhead compartments weren't a problem then because they didn't charge for luggage. Because people don't want to drag luggage through the airport for the most part. People don't want to do that. But we made them do that because they don't want to pay the price now. So now they're dragging. So now they're coming out. The poor gate agents are having to come out and threaten you. Oh yeah, you got a high boarding pass. You're over there in the sea. Well, guess what? Your bag's not making it on, and we're going to gate check it. And then they start telling you we're going to stop boarding, and we're not going to board anybody else until somebody comes up here and gate checks some bags. We need 13. I don't know how they know. How they count them as they go by, but how do they know they need to check 13 more bags? But that's what they do. Make you gate check the things, or they just halt the boarding. They messed it up. It was a great airline. But that's why it feels like a third world country. And, okay, wife of mine, quit texting me. My wife's blowing me up. You know I'm going to look at yours. Hers rings through the quiet. Stop it. Text me during the break. God, I can't believe I have to tell her that on the air. You guys just hold on a minute while I chastise my wife. Don't text me right now. And she'll text me. Okay, watch. Oh, my goodness. But part of what happened is, and I noticed it on Southwest first, American, they were always kind of, I think it's because their uniforms are so much more uncomfortable. That's my theory. American, they have to wear the skirts and, the jackets, and they're all buttoned up and the little neckerchief thing, and they're just kind of uptight, trying to be professional. And they do look very professional on American, United. Southwest, they just wear the blue slacks, the polo, kind of laid back. But COVID made them all mean. It messed with all of them. Every flight attendant, flying during COVID was not fun at all. It was horrible. Because you walk on the plane, and if your mask wasn't sitting just right on your face, and this is literally the only place I wore a mask, that's because when I had to fly a couple times, they'd start screaming at you. You're holding, both of your hands are full, and they're screaming, get your mask on right, get your mask on right. I'm like, it can wait till I get to my seat. And then you lift your mask up to take a drink. Put that mask back down. I only lifted up to take a drink. I was taking a drink. I didn't see you taking a drink. Don't argue with me. We'll kick you off the plane. And then you got the pilots coming on. Well, those flight attendants are an extension of my authority, so you just consider yourself talking to me, and if you disobey an instruction, you're out of here. And then at the end of the flight, we know you have a choice in flights and in companies, and we really appreciate you picking us. Do you? Because you treated me like garbage the whole time. And forget complaining, they don't care. They don't care. But some of it's just unnecessary. They just, it's your job. You're in a customer service job, Anyway, I digress. I think that's what messed with Southwest is they went through COVID, and now we're messing with them. There was an article I read recently where they were talking about the flight attendants have to put their baggage all the way in the back of the plane. I don't know if they changed that. They're already mad about that. To put their bags all the way in the back compartment overhead to free up the front overhead compartments. Big to do. And it's not that big a deal, but it bothers them. That's where they work. They're in charge of the cabin of that plane. Put their bags where they want to. They probably do. Who cares? Somebody going to rat them out, the bag police. They put their bag up in that front overhead. But Americans getting where they're not, 236, Americans getting where they're not much better. Every once in a great while, I get once in a great while. If I'm billing out flights having to go somewhere, I fly high class. But anyway, you would too if somebody else is paying for it. As it comes out of my pocket, I'm back there in coach using points. You guys know what I'm talking about. But then you got that seat and you come up, and it's one of the smaller planes. I don't know if it's the Embraer, but it's the little one that doesn't have as much overhead. And you have to, I get up there and I'm forced to check my bag. It won't fit. I know it'll fit. Well, we need room for other bags. Well, but I'm sitting right here. Anyway, I've ranted about all this stuff before. People need to quit the respect my authority stuff. Yeah, you're right, 320. They need to stop. Respect my authority. Sounds like something out of South Park. Did you hear about the new Democrat? This is from Eric. Did you hear about the new Democrat Party in Canada with their point of privilege cards? After all the box checking, complaining, and pink card waving, they voted in an old straight white guy. That sounds about right. Oh, just complaining about it. 806-680-2790. You'd like to weigh in. Love to hear from you. Coming up, I've got some answers, some more TSA news. That's the one, the organization I love to complain about. There's an article out there I read today that tells you where the $10 billion slush fund to pay him came from. Trump's slush fund, all funded by tariffs. I paid a bunch of it today. We'll take the break. Back in a moment.
The Titan of Texas Talk Radio, The Chad Hasty Show.
Talking with newsmakers and about the issues that matter to you. The Chad Hasty Show, weekdays from 5 to 7 p.m. Chad's show is also digital with the Chad Hasty Show podcast. The Chad Hasty Show podcast can be downloaded on Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Spotify, and the Radio On Demand page on KFYO.com. The Chad Hasty Show, all across Texas during your drive home, weekdays from 5 to 7 p.m.
Heads up, Texas.
So you don't hit my car when I'm sitting at a stoplight.
Heads up, Texas.
So I can ride my bike safely.
Heads up, Texas.
So I can make it across the street without getting run over.
Heads up, Texas.
So I don't have to write you a ticket.
Heads up, Texas. Because driving and using your phone is a bad combination. Talk, text, crash. Brought to you by TxDOT.
This is Shannon Bream. Join me for Fox News Sunday as we sit down with a diverse and dynamic group of guests featuring interviews with political, business, and public affairs newsmakers from the U.S. and abroad. All part of the Sunday political block from Fox News Radio. Fox News Sunday.
Every Sunday evening from 5 to 6, right here on your home for the news and talk of West Texas. News Talk 95.1 FM and 790 AM KFYO.
Eat, drink, smoke with Tony Katz.
We're in the cigar buying business, yes, and I think we should continue to be in the cigar buying business. That's not going to stop me from putting out a cigar. I'm just talking about it as a site, as like a. I don't think I'm in the cigar selling business, unless that site. I got a great name for it: eBay. You're an idiot.
Eat, drink, smoke with Tony Katz. Saturday evenings at 5 on KFYO.
Looking for a great real estate agent? Someone who can help you sell your home fast and for top dollar? Go to ready.com, REDY.com. Because on Ready, agents will pay you just for the opportunity to sell your home. Yeah, on Ready, agents will pay you for your listing. Thousands of dollars up front just for a chance to sell your home. And it's easy. Just go to ready.com, enter your address, and when you want to sell. In just 48 hours, the best local agents are competing on Ready to be your agent with cash offers up front just to win your business. Hey, your listing is valuable. Don't give it away. Make those agents earn it. Get paid to pick your real estate agent. Go to ready.com or call 888-525-REDY. 888-525-READY.
Are you rickrolling me? Are you really rickrolling me, Nick? I'm offended. I'm like the Canadian Democrats. Offended. My privilege card. 806-680-2790. We're back. Nick just sucked all the energy out of the show. Oh, send us a message. Love to hear from you. So a $10 billion slush fund. Get that out. $10 billion slush fund to pay TSA agents. Trump's latest unilateral loophole explained. It's not a fortune.com. I don't know if this is a liberal rag or not. So it says there's an idea about how political power is supposed to work in the U.S. to guard against anything resembling monarchy. The founders vested Congress, not the president, with the power of the purse. Premise was simple. Kings tax and spend at will. American presidents aren't supposed to. Of course, it's well known that this boundary is being stress tested by the president. What isn't is that it's related to his solution to the crisis at the airports, with TSA agents going unpaid, owing to the partial government shutdown related to Trump's controversial immigration regime. Trump signed an executive order last week to pay TSA agents. The order directs the Secretary of Homeland Security to use funds that have a reasonable and logical nexus to TSA operations. So the Homeland Security Director, again, I said this last week, who's making the decision how the money gets to Homeland Security? Director of Homeland Security. Secretary. Let's see. Logical nexus to TSA operations to provide TSA employees with the compensation and benefits that would have accrued to them if not for the Democrat-led DHS shutdown. Some policy and legal experts say that Trump's order relies on funding from legally questionable sources. The White House hasn't exactly specified where within the tax and spending bill the money is coming from, but The senior director of federal budget policy at the Center for American Progress said in an interview that this is just one section deep in more than 300 pages of the One Big Beautiful Bill Act where the money may be coming from. They do have a pot of money, he said. It's a giant slush fund, but you couldn't use it for just anything. The specific text that he's referring to comes from the portion of the bill that reserved funding for the Department of Homeland Security for reimbursement of cost incurred in undertaking activities in support of DHS's mission to safeguard the borders of the United States. The funding comes weeks after Trump tapped Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE, agents to support the TSA as agents went without pay. ICE agents secured what libertarian think tank Cato Institute calls shutdown-proof funding, meaning they were able to continue operating with pay during the partial government shutdown by shifting funding for immigration enforcement outside of normal appropriations. But the TSA funding move is the latest in a series of what budget experts deem illegal actions the president has taken to ensure certain aspects of the government are funded during shutdowns. So let me pause there, because what bothers me about this is maybe he's doing this while talking to the House Republicans. Maybe he's doing it on his own. I don't know. But there are leverage points that are being used in the House and the Senate to negotiate the bills, to negotiate the funding and negotiate the continuing resolutions and the budget. And unfortunately, the American people pay the price. TSA agents go without a paycheck, and that's all leverage to create pressure to get people to back off. And Trump doing this changes that status quo, and maybe that was the plan. Maybe that was the plan. I don't know. We got some money here. We're gonna pay you guys. I did look today. Houston, the worst airport in the world for TSA, that Houston George Bush, is down to like 10 minutes security. They're getting back to normal. They're happy. They're coming back to work. And it was like a small percentage of people calling out. I don't understand. They just slowed down is what they did too. They just made it hurt. We're going to hurt. We're not getting paid. You're going to hurt. That's what it is. No one has standing. No one can stop this. Similarly, no one had standing to stop Trump from illegally paying the military the last time. This is again from Bobby Kogan, the Senior Director of Federal Budget Policy at the Center for American Progress. He added, it's just going to be one of his bajillion illegal budgetary actions. Kogan penned an essay titled How Trump Violated the Law to Pay the Military in Lawfare last October, outlining the methods the president used to fund the military while the government remained shut down. A pattern that has people in the streets. Trump revealed that he is asking Congress for the largest military budget in American history, a staggering $1.5 trillion, to boost defense spending amid the Iran war. Military action for, they say Iran war, military action for which the president hasn't received congressional approval. Thank you, we know. Throw that in there. Liberal rag. It's become a liberal rag now. That comes after the president floated on Wednesday the idea that states should fund welfare programs rather than the federal government. Moreover, the funding risk add nearly $7 trillion to the already sky-high $39 trillion debt, according to the Committee for a Responsible Federal Budget. It's not possible for us to take care of the day-to-day, Medicaid, Medicare, all these individual things, he said at a private White House event, as reported by the AP. They can do it on a state basis. You can't do it on a federal basis. Defense spending proposal along with the TSA agent funding are just two developments along a string of actions that have Trump's opponents likening him to a king. I'm not buying into the No Kings movement. Movement staged 3 rounds of nationwide protest against Trump administration. Part of that concern is over the president's growing willingness to sidestep Congress. Oh, like Barack Obama did. Like your champion president did. Eroding the check on the executive branch the Constitution was designed to enforce. Legal experts say the TSA pay move breaks the law. While Trump has moved to pay agents, legal experts find the use of this specific funding for TSA to be legally dubious, pointing to the fact that Congress has the power of the purse and the purpose statute, which requires using appropriations only for the specific use for which they were originally made. professor at UC Law San Francisco, because who cares what the Californians think, and author of a recent academic article about the president's growing power during government shutdown, argues that the administration is interpreting this statute too loosely. Maybe. The object is border security, not everything DHS does. Well, Price told Fortune, paying TSA, they're basically treating it as a 4-year appropriation for DHS's overall mission, but I think the language is more specific. Kogan estimated TSA cost at roughly $140 million a week. If you say it real fast, it doesn't mean anything, or doesn't mean as much. It doesn't hurt as bad. Just say it real fast. Meaning the administration could fund the agency for close to a year before exhausting the $10 billion pot. Though it's still unclear how long TSA will continue to be paid via that funding, depending on Congress's ability to reach a deal. The House on Thursday took no action on the Senate-passed funding plan for DHS that would end the partial government shutdown. What's interesting is will the Democrats try to take this to the Supreme Court and hurt themselves, hurt the TSA? Because if funding leaks over to DHS, they'll do it. For sure. They don't want DHS funded. That's what it's all about. You're listening to the Chad Hasty Show on the Texas Town Square Media Network. I'm Steve Evans, hanging out with you. We'll be back with hour 2 of the program, 806-680-2790. If you'd like to send me a message, love to hear from you. Back in a moment.
The Chad Hasty Show, a presentation of Texas Town Square Media Network. The views and opinions expressed during the Chad Hasty Show are not necessarily the views of this station's staff, management, advertisers, or Town Square Media.
Reason, Religion, and Reality is a radio project of the Constitutionalist Society, LLC. Each week, a panel of 4 conservative, liberty-loving constitutionalists discuss topics dealing with the fundamental building blocks of our country and how it applies to religion and perception. We unapologetically discuss sensitive topics most steer clear from. Listen online at KFYO.com or the KFYO app. Reason, Religion, and Reality, Sunday, noon to 2 on News Talk 95.1 FM, 790 AM, KFYO.
From true crime to exploring cyberspace, Coast to Coast AM with George Norrie, 7 nights a week from midnight to 5 on News Talk 95.1 and 790 KFYO.
News Talk 95.1, 790 KFYO Lubbock, KFYO.com, a Town Square media station.
It's 6 o'clock in Texas.
An intense search. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. As a U.S. service member is missing after an F-15E fighter jet was downed in a remote area of southwestern Iran.
The U.S. F-15E was shot down late Thursday night while it was still dark before the sun rose on Friday morning in Iran. U.S. officials tell me there was enemy fire during the rescue of one of the 2 F-15E crew members, and there is a very risky search and rescue operation still ongoing right now. Video from Iran appears to show one of the American rescue helicopters being hit by enemy fire, black smoke coming off of its tail. An F-15E Strike Eagle has a pilot and a weapons systems operator on board. It is the workhorse of the Air Force.
Fox's Jennifer Griffin in Washington. In addition, an A-10 Warthog was struck by enemy fire but was able to return to safety. Israel was trying to help rescue the missing crew member, halting all strikes in that area of Iran.
Israel is sharing intel with their American counterparts, as they have been throughout the entirety of this war and before the war. An Iranian television anchor with the state-controlled media has put out the call for the locals to take custody of any U.S. personnel found on the ground for an unspecified reward.
Fox's Mike Tobin in Tel Aviv. Democrats promising to tank President Trump's budget proposal. The price tag, $2.2 trillion, up 15% from last year.
Chuck Schumer, the Senate Minority Leader, says a budget is like an X-ray. It shows what's really going on inside. Donald Trump's budget is rotten to the core, and Democrats will make sure it never passes. A bulk of that budget for the Department of War, $1.5 trillion.
Fox's Peter Doocy at the White House. President Trump has signed an executive order that will give federal agencies authority to cut funding at schools that don't comply with mandates that cover transfers, eligibility, and pay for play. America is listening to Fox News.
When severe weather.
Let's talk about Legacy Box. Is your closet cluttered with old home videos and photos that rarely see the light of day?
Those items hold priceless memories, but they're fading away fast. If you can't watch or share them, what's the point?
Legacy Box makes digitizing your memories easy. Just pack up your old tapes, film, and photos, and they'll take care of the rest by hand right here in Tennessee. You'll be able to see and share them again once they're in the cloud, ready to watch on your phone, on your smart TV, your computer, or tablet.
We've both relied on Legacy Box to digitize photos and movies from back in the day. They do such a great job. They'll do the same for you. Right now, Legacy Box is running a $9 videotape sale. That's 65% off. At this price, this is the best time to convert your entire collection. Join the 1.5 million families who have already trusted Legacy Box. Visit legacybox.com/buck to shop their $9 tape sale. That's legacybox.com/buck. legacybox.com/buck.
This is George Norrie. Don't forget to catch tonight's edition of Coast to Coast AM from midnight to 5 right here on KFYO.
South Plains weather forecast. The temperatures on this Friday evening are dropping into the middle to upper 40s. Scattered showers or a thunderstorm will continue through at least midnight as temperatures will move once again into the upper 60s on Saturday behind a cool front that's going to start our weekend just a bit cool. And introducing the new Sonic refreshers made with real fruit. I'm meteorologist Ron Roberts on Lubbock's official weather station News Talk KFYO.
Broadcasting from the great state of Texas, news and views with a Lone Star perspective. You can sound off during the show by sending Chad a text at 806-680-2790. That's 806-680-2790. Or call in at 1-800-687-0790. Now, here's Chad Hasty.
Wait a minute. Chad Hasty's out. It's Steve Evans.
Monday warrior, mean stride. Today's Tom Sawyer, mean pride.
Hey, welcome back to Hour 2 of the Chad Hasty Show. Steve Evans hanging out with you, 806-680-2790. If you'd like to send us a message, love to hear from you. Got one right off the bat here from 341. Says, is Chad out today? He's more fun, not enjoying the talking tonight. Okay, sorry. You feel free to text in a topic if you want. Like I say, if you don't know, if you're just tuning in, this is the ADHD Friday show, Attention Deficit Friday, and you can decide what we talk about if you want, or at least try. If not, you got a radio dial. You know, you can go listen to whatever you want to. Sorry. It's not for everyone. We try all the time. It's not for everyone. Eric, oh, good grief. First he says he laughs. There's a Canadian song for you, Steve. Then he says, Eric says, did you hear about the STD infections in Houston's spring break week? It's topped over 50,000 now. Are you sure about that? I haven't looked at that. It could be. One guy has syphilis, gonorrhea, HIV 1 and 2, herpes, looks like Elephant Man's stepdad. Our future society is beyond cooked. Brondo isn't going to help us. Maybe those tariffs will. My goodness. That's a mouthful. Did Eric call you today too, Nick? Yeah. Did you get it? Did you hear from Eric? What happened, Eric? We thought you were dead. You know, we were actually gonna come up to health center and buddy check you. You disappeared, and now you're back, and it's like you're back in full force. He's recovered. Took a little break. He was listening to FM. You were listening to FM, weren't you, Eric? A little FM radio, a little music radio. Now he's back to talk radio. Or he switched to satellite. You know, he took a break from terrestrial radio. I don't know. Maybe that's what you did. While we're talking about TSA, here's another interesting one that I don't have a problem with at all. President Trump wants to cut funding to the TSA and require privatization of security operations at small airports. Yes, I'm good with that. The 27 budget proposal that was released today proposes cutting $52 million from the agency's funding. $52 million of what? Because didn't we just talk about $140 million a month or a week to pay for TSA? $52 million from their funding, which officials created after September 11th. Remember, TSA showed up at like November of 2001. Of the terrorist attacks in an effort to ensure tighter airport security. To date, nobody has been able to prove that TSA has stopped anything. Nobody. The shoe bomber. The shoe bomber went in and said, "I got bombs in my shoes." I mean, they didn't stop him. They've not stopped anything. It is theater to make you feel safer. And I don't feel any safer. It inconveniences me, but they sure make sure that I don't take any electrolyte powder on the plane. Whew, we can't have that. The budget also suggests having small airports enroll in the screening partnership program, under which TSA pays for private screeners to work at airports. At small airports, it just should be managed by the local operation. The airports that already use this program have demonstrated savings compared to federal screening operations. The budget proposal reads, the move would yield cost savings compared to federal screening and begin reform of a troubled federal agency. It was troubled from the get-go. It was organized in a hurry. They put a federal organization together in a couple months. That's what they did. And then they've been trying to fix it ever since. TSA has been left unfunded during the partial shutdown, but we've been talking about that. Shutdown left airports understaffed recent weeks. Officers didn't have incentives to come in. Well, but that's not going to fix that. If you defund that, then you're not going to pay the bill, and you're going to stick the small airports paying the bill because they've got the employees hired, or the contractors are going to quit, and then they have to shut down operations. If you're using a contractor, you can't impose the same you have to come to work or you lose your job kind of stuff. The government job can get away with that. But if you're a contractor, that's a little bit different thing. TS officers started receiving checks again Monday for back pay, following the executive order, blah, blah, blah. Why did we do this weeks ago? When we started seeing suffering of folks. Suffering. Cory Booker says people at the airports are suffering. They're suffering in the lines. Goodness. Or they could drive. I mean, they got options. They're choosing to suffer, Cory Booker. They must fly to get here. Well, it's still a choice. There's still alternate modes of transportation. Flying is just getting more and more accessible for people. Partial shutdown came months after record-breaking full government shutdown. You all know this. Privatizing security operations could help avoid leaving the TSA budget vulnerable to congressional disputes over funding in the future, but slashing the agency's budget could cut it from even more resources when more than 400 employees have quit since the beginning of the year. They should all quit. All the TSA agents should just quit. Go work in the private sector. Just quit. Yeah, it'll turn air travel on its nose for a little bit until everybody says, we're just going to hire the private contractors. And you get hired back as a private contractor and probably have a little bit, maybe better pay, better benefits, better leverage, less chance of getting, having to come to work without a paycheck, maybe private sector kind of, that thing. The budget included a $481 million increase to hire more air traffic controllers. Good. That is a massive problem, folks. We are and it's having to do with government shutdowns and all that stuff. They have been very understaffed in air traffic control for a long time. They've been hiring for a long time. And it pays pretty good. You find some younger folks out there, Nick, you might consider a career in air traffic control. You're on the radio, operating things. It pays good, but the problem with it is it's like the Border Patrol. It's like federal law enforcement agencies. You don't get to pick where you go. You sign up for it, and you're in a control tower in the middle of a flyover state somewhere at some regional airport, and some little tiny Charlie or Delta work in a control tower, and it's not where you want to be, and that's the problem. They're going to have to revamp that and say, I'm going to hire you in Lubbock. You're going to work in Lubbock. You're going to go up to Oklahoma. You're going to do your training. You're going to come back here, and this is where your job's going to be. If you want to transfer, got good options for you to transfer. They're going to have to revamp the way they do that. And maybe they have, but that's not the way it used to be. You got assigned, and you had to work your way, I think, through seniority. Those of you that remember Jody Smyers that used to produce the show, was an air traffic controller. I'm actually going to ask him about this because he was an air traffic controller out in Lubbock. He's from this region. And I don't know what he had to do to get back over here, or if he just got lucky, or how that works, or maybe you negotiate a deal for whatever area you want to work in. I don't know. The budget reflects the administration's commitment to safe and efficient air travel by providing robust funding for the Federal Aviation Administration. Read the fiscal 2027 top line. What do you think? 806-680-2790. I've always advocated for privatizing everything. I always think it makes it better. Hollywood says private TSA at airports, another slush fund for Democrats to steal from. It would not be a slush fund, Hollywood. It would just privatize security. I don't think it's a bad thing. Every time Eric says, ooh, FM. Take away the airport curb to airplane door privileges for U.S. senators and U.S. House reps. Make them wait in line and go through screening. I have a feeling the laws will change quickly. A lot of airports have already done that. That's already happening. They're having to stand in line like everybody else, not getting those front of line privileges. There's been plenty of pictures, if you go look for them, Eric, of members standing in the long TSA lines, just glaring at everybody, not happy about it and having to wait. Well, yeah, you have to wait. Why do they get head of line privileges? Why do they get privileges that I don't pay for? It's a security issue. Is it? They're getting on the plane with everybody else. What difference does it make if they're walking around the airport? Who cares? They're going to go to Starbucks and get their latte and their slice of airport pizza too. I've traveled with some of them before. And they just want to get through security real fast. I don't like it. I don't agree with it. I don't think it should ever happen. Even if they go back and fund TSA, I think they ought to stand in line like they are everybody else. They are regular people, aren't they? Are senators and congressmen, are they regular people? I think when you ascend to, maybe the speaker needs better security. I certainly believe that the speaker of the Texas House needs better security and does have security. The president, there's key, but is your average, this is Cory Booker, is anybody trying to mess with him? I'm sure they would all tell you, I'm under constant threat all the time. I need security. I should probably fly private. I need to be on the Air Force G6 home. I certainly need to do that. All federal employees in D.C. should have this private. I'm sure they think that. Can you imagine what that would cost? I think if Elon Musk had about another couple years to doge the government, we would find way more. I think he found a lot they didn't talk about. I really do. I don't know. Let's take a quick break. 806-680-2790. If you'd like to send a message, I'm Steve Evans hanging out with you on The Chad Hasty Show. We'll be back in a moment.
The Titan of Texas Talk Radio. The Chad Hasty Show.
Talking with newsmakers and about the issues that matter to you. The Chad Hasty Show, weekdays from 5 to 7 p.m. Chad's show is also digital with the Chad Hasty Show podcast. The Chad Hasty Show podcast can be downloaded on Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Spotify, and the Radio On Demand page on KFYO.com. The Chad Hasty Show, all across Texas during your drive home, weekdays from 5 to 7 p.m.
Pedal to the metal. Greased lightning. Burn rubber. Make tracks. Full gas. Whatever you call it, it's speeding. And a heavy foot can cost you a heavy fine. Or more. Speeding is a factor in more than 150,000 crashes every year in Texas. Many of them fatal. Slow down. Be safe. Drive smart. And take it easy. A message from the Texas Department of Transportation.
Local events, newsmakers, and information. It's Sunrise LBK on KFYO.
Coming up on Sunrise LBK on Monday, we're going to be talking with Ambassador T. Bornaz Jr. State of the world, still a lot of things brewing in the Middle East. Also, have the weekend sports rewind with Ryan Heights, all coming up on KFYO, the news and talk of West Texas. And most assuredly, we will have some fun and some great prizes for you on KFYO.
Ted Cruz here. Tune in to KFYO every Sunday at 11 for Verdict with Ted Cruz. But stick around for Reason, Religion, and Reality at noon, followed by the best of the Clay Travis and Buck Sexton Show, right here on the news and talk of West Texas. News Talk 95.1 and 790 KFYO.
Fox on Tech. ChatGPT can now chat with Apple users while riding around town. Apple released yet another incremental upgrade to iOS 26, the operating system for iPhones, and with it comes the ability to bring the ChatGPT app to CarPlay. That's the feature that allows for an iPhone to connect to a car's entertainment system and display screen, bringing an Apple ecosystem, but formatted to the vehicle's screen and controls. ChatGPT on CarPlay will respond to voice cues. Apple's foray into AI has been a little mixed. Its own Apple Intelligence didn't win users over, and so Apple has partnered more with ChatGPT company OpenAI, in the past integrating ChatGPT with Apple's Siri. The new version is iOS 26.4. The update also brings Playlist Playground to Apple's music subscribers, generating playlists based on a user's description of what kind of music one wishes to hear. With Fox on Tech, I'm Eben Brown, Fox News.
News Talk, KFYO.
Hey, welcome back to the Chad Hasty Show, 806-680-2790. To send a message. Hollywood says, have a good weekend, Steve and Nick. I guess he's out. I guess Hollywood's done. 6:20 was enough. He couldn't hang around for another 40 minutes. Hollywood is good for a little over an hour. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe he's just getting that in before he forgot. I'm gonna have another couple of drinks. I might be drunk and passed out before the show's over. I'm gonna go ahead and say have a good weekend. I don't know. Could be. Texas Department of Criminal Justice held a grand opening. Did we miss this? This is an old story. Wait a minute, Nick. This was an old story. I don't see an update to it. We're not going to do that one. Yeah, that one's old. I was feeling like I covered this one. Oh, I know why I was going to make fun of this one, because of the last name of the unit. Okay, hold on. We are going to do this. I remember pulling this, yeah. And he's in the air, too. He's not going to be able to hear us. They held a grand opening February 24th to mark the opening of the Giles W. Dalby unit in Post, Texas. Agency began populating the unit in January following a $110 million acquisition approved during the 89th legislature. I knew I was going to make fun of this because Commissioner Mike Dalby, his people are down there. Like he's from the Garza County Dalbys. He comes from them. So he's convinced his name is means something down there. The Dalbys are big stuff down in Post, Texas. He's not listening to me. That's what's funny. Hollywood's back. Oh no, he says he's still here. The acquisition allows us to effectively manage the growing inmate population while providing essential rehabilitation programs. Let's see. The 251,000 square foot facility built between 97 and 98 by Garza County. It's a massive upgrade. Will house approximately 1,900 inmates when filled. Maybe we can send some of Lubbock counties down there when we get full. The Giles Dalby unit, named after the late Garza County judge, is fully air conditioned and sits on 72 acres of land. Incarcerated individuals at the unit will have the opportunity to participate in education courses, substance use treatment, and life skills programs in addition to academic courses. Wyndham School District will offer introduction to construction careers, RV service technician programs to equip students with workforce skills, as well as courses to assist with life skills. I have no problem with that. I have no problem if you're going to learn how to do something so that when you get out, you can be a contributing member of society. I think that's fantastic. I think that you ought to get an invoice, though, that you have to, at some point down the road, pay back for the cost of that. Everybody else has to pay. Now we're just going to educate you and let you and you get a job, and others can't afford to go to school. An off base there, maybe a little bit. I don't know. at some point, or maybe they just make it where, hey, one of these days you can contribute back, or a very, very, very small percentage of your pay goes to help fund these programs for the next person. Maybe that's an idea. I don't know. To help combat substance abuse and addiction, inmates who arrive at the unit will have the opportunity to enroll in a recovery housing opportunity program. This program helps inmates build character. They build character out at the prison, correct self-defeating behaviors, and practice self-examination and servant leadership to achieve long-term sobriety. Led by peer recovery specialists, participants learn from holistic curriculum and live in zero-tolerance environment to together promotes accountability and lasting recovery. All that's great. And I know there's a special unit over in East Texas jail that is a substance abuse prison. That's everybody in there's got substance abuse problems, and they've got group therapy and great program. And I know because I know somebody that's in that unit right now that just had a lot of DUIs, DWIs, just couldn't stay sober, just kept getting drunk and driving, and finally got sentenced to like 7 or 8 years. It's a big deal. After completing that program, they're moved to a sober living dorm where they can live in a supportive environment, provides structure, accountability, community-focused. Dalby unit also has a housing area for substance use education programs, 6-month parole-voted program. And this is one of those deals where you can be eligible for parole, and they can grant your parole, but they do it pending completion of a program. So yeah, you can get out, but you have to finish the program first. It's a parole-voted program, uses modified therapeutic community methods to promote positive behavior. There's a lot of buzzwords in this article. The Corrective Intervention Pre-Release Program, 4-month program designed to transition individuals from restrictive housing to general population, blah, blah, blah. The operation of the Dalby unit underscores commitment to public safety. Eric Nichols, chairman of the Texas Board of Criminal Justice. Anyway, local big investment in rehabilitation. Now, let's see, Eric chimed in and said, rookie. I don't, where are you coming from, Eric? Just rookie. Nikki could be talking about you. He could be talking about me. He could be talking about someone that just knocked on his door to buddy check him. Rookie. Maybe they didn't kick the door in or something. I don't know. Maybe he's shot. I don't know who he's calling rookie. Maybe it was somebody at the Allsips when he went to get his fried chimichanga that was a rookie. I don't know. Who are you talking about, Eric? My goodness. I remember seeing that article a while back and thinking, Dalby, I'm going to use that down the road. Oh, unfortunately, I know he's not listening to the show today. Teach those dudes how to weld so they can invent a better shank. That's not fair. That's not fair. Not every prison is a hardcore prison. There's actually the Texas Department of Criminal Justice has a lot of rehabilitation facilities. It's almost like they're starting to figure out that you just can't lock people down for a number of years and then let them out and think they're going to just return to society and be great. They actually need to work with them and get them some programs and rehabilitate them, teach them how to weld so they can invent a better shank. They've already got that perfected. They don't need welding classes to learn how to make a better shank. Those guys in prison, they can make something to stab you out of anything. They can probably take a roll of toilet paper and kill you with it. It may take them a while, but they can probably turn it into plaster and then turn it into a knife and then turn it whatever. I'm sure it's very innovative. Folks in prison, very, very innovative. If they were that innovative on the outside, they wouldn't be in prison. They'd have great jobs. 806-680-2790. If you'd like to send us a message, we're just about to kick out to a break here and check news and weather. We got another half hour. I'll get one more text in from Eric before we go to break. He says Hollywood's not hanging tough. Hollywood's still there, I guess. I don't know. Y'all call each other. Work it out. News and weather. We'll be right back with more Chad Hasty Show. Stick around.
Call in to the Chad Hasty Show at 1-800-687-0790. The Chad Hasty Show, broadcasting on the Texas Town Square Media Network.
When you see a car that's been in a bad crash, it's no accident. When it backs traffic up for miles, no accident. And if there's a fatality involved, somebody died. That's no accident either. A lot of the time, it was speeding. And it's no accident that speeding is a factor in more than 150,000 crashes every year in Texas, many of them fatal. So slow down, be safe, drive smart. A message from TxDOT.
Nick, this is your phone here in the passenger seat. Look at me.
No, I'm driving.
You got a text. It says, "Yo, dude, your friends are fascinating. Let's text them back."
It can wait.
Sports app. Oh, you gotta see this play.
Later.
Hey, you got invited to a party. We need a RSVP now.
Phone, silence yourself.
Before you get behind the wheel, silence your phone. Talk, text, crash. A message from TxDOT.
TSN headlines, it's believed a 4-year-old boy shot a 2-year-old boy in a Channel View home today. The toddler shot in the head, had surgery, is in critical condition. Police say there were 7 adults in the home, but a gun was left unsecured in a bedroom. The gun owner is cooperating. No charges have been filed. A suspect in the kidnapping and robbery at a Dallas recording studio has been captured in Atlanta. Federal prosecutors announced charges this week against 2 rappers and 7 other people accused of kidnapping and robbing people at a studio in Dallas in January. Storm activity yesterday included reports of tornadoes between Austin and College Station. The Lee County Emergency Management Office Facebook page says an EF0 near Giddings had estimated winds of 60 to 70 miles an hour. No major injuries. Statewide average for a gallon of gasoline, $3.82, up a penny overnight. In the majors today, the Texas Rangers lost to Cincinnati 5-3. The Houston Astros are at the Athletics, and women's Final Four, Texas tonight takes on UCLA. With your Texas news headlines, I'm Barbara Schwartz.
Hurt in a car or truck wreck? Call Frankel & Frankel first. Mark and Scott Frankel, the go-to car and truck wreck attorneys in Texas, have been fighting for your rights for over 25 years. Before becoming personal injury lawyers, they defended insurance companies, so they know all the tricks and tactics insurers use to deny your claim. Trust the experienced, family-owned, and highly awarded Frankel & Frankel to put you first and get the resolution you deserve. And remember, it's a felony for an attorney to reach out to you directly or indirectly via third parties within the first 30 days after an accident. During this period, an attorney may only send a letter. Frankel & Frankel make it easy. From the free consultation to the very first phone call, they handle everything with no out-of-pocket costs. They only get paid when you win. If you or a loved one has been injured, reach out to Frankel & Frankel today at frankelfirm.com. That's FRENKEL firm.com. Principal office, Dallas, Texas.
Lubbock Chaplain's weather forecast. The temperatures on this Friday evening are dropping into the middle of the upper 40s. Scattered showers or a thunderstorm will continue through at least midnight as temperatures will move once again into the upper 60s on Saturday behind a cool front that's going to start our weekend just a bit cool. And introducing the new Sonic refreshers made with real fruit, I'm meteorologist Ron Roberts on Lubbock's official weather station, News Talk KFYO.
Tune in to Shooter on the Law with Lubbock lawyer Cole Shooter every Saturday morning from 10 to 11 on KFYO. Have questions about future estate planning that benefits the entire family? How about the ongoing struggle with scammers dealing with cryptocurrency? Find the answers to all your legal questions from a licensed attorney in the state of Texas with Cole Shooter and Shooter on the Law, Saturday mornings at 10 on News Talk 95.1 and 790 KFYO.
Has anybody told you about Coast to Coast AM tonight?
Coast to Coast is one of those programs that deals with strange mysteries. We'll look at Bigfoot. We'll look at UFOs. We'll look at real science. And we'll also look at conspiracies and what it all means to you, the listeners of Coast to Coast AM.
It's the best in overnight talk radio. Coast to Coast AM.
Coast to Coast AM with George Norrie. Tonight at midnight on KFYO.
All right, if you find yourself, you're one of those people trapped in those horrible timeshares, and it's almost and feels almost impossible to get out of this, Now, that is why the only timeshare exit company that I endorse, they've been with us over a decade. I love this family-owned business, is LoneStarTransfer.com. They treat you with respect. They tell you the truth. They create a customized exit plan for your specific situation. And then lastly, their team will execute it all start to finish with professionalism, and they guarantee results. No more stress. You get peace of mind. Call my friends at Lone Star Transfer today. Now, call now. It's 833-594-0075 and get your free case review. That's 833-594-0075 or check them out on the web at LoneStarTransfer.com. Tell them your friend Sean Hannity sent you.
Empowering West Texas with news that matters. News Talk 95.1 FM, 790 AM KFYO.
Don't forget about Chad. Find Chad on social media at Chad Hasty Radio on X and Instagram. It's The Chad Hasty Show.
Hey, welcome back to The Chad Hasty Show. Steve Evans hanging out with you this evening. Chad will be back Monday. Scheduled to be back Monday. Should be. 806-680-2790. If you'd like to send a message, Eric says if the Texas Department of Criminal Justice partnered with Micro Works Foundation, I'm sure they could train plumbers, pipe fitters, welders, construction, CDL drivers, HVAC, several others for free. Micro has millions for training programs so the student doesn't have debt when they finish training. They even have a job matching program. I don't know. Somebody needs to pick up the phone, call him. Say, we need to help out here. Let's see. I met Chad and Ken and some of the other listeners. Okay, Hollywood. Thanks. Hollywood, I think we've actually met. Pretty sure. Okay. This is from the Texas, and this is our public service for the evening. Texas Department of State Health Services is warning people, do not eat the Great Value brand frozen dinosaur-shaped chicken nuggets. Not a good deal. With a best buy date of February 10th, 2027. These things last that long? That's out there a ways. February 10th of 27. I'm not eating them anyway. If they last that long. I like stuff that spoils within a week. Chicken nuggets sold in 29-ounce bags and distributed through Walmart stores nationwide are subject of a U.S. Department of Agriculture health alert issued Wednesday because they may be contaminated with high levels of lead. How does this happen? How do we contaminate the food with lead? Why is it even close to lead? One of those things that used to happen when I was in the Navy, they used to get JP5 jet fuel into the fresh water. How does that? Why is there a pipe connecting those two systems together? Nobody could ever explain. How do we get JP5 in the water? And you're taking a shower and you just torch your eyes because you look up and you got JP5 mixed in the water. Nobody could ever tell me how that happened. I asked a lot too. Hey, how did you? Who put the pipe there that connects these two? And why is there a valve? Why is it leaking? It never made any sense to me. If you know, love to hear from you. But I mean, I went down to engineering. How does this happen? No, it's just, just some long, they don't know. I couldn't figure it out either. According to the alert, the potential harmful level of lead in the chicken nuggets was detected by a routine public health sampling. So there's no telling how long people were getting lead poisoning from chicken nuggets. No safe level of lead in food. Nope. And exposure to lead presents the greatest risk to children under 6 years of age, the target audience of dinosaur-shaped chicken nuggets. But you throw some string cheese in there, and Nick probably eats these things. I don't know. You eat the dino nuggets? No? You go to Chick-fil-A, don't you? Yeah, I think I'm better nuggets. Greatest risk to children under 6 years and women who are pregnant or may become pregnant. More information on the risk, you can go to Department of DSHS.texas.gov/lead. They made it easy. The effective packages have been pulled from stores, but consumers, since these things last for a couple of years, may still have them in their freezers, especially if they put them on 2 for $1 and people bought, a cart full of them and got them in their freezers. Go check your nuggets. People who still have bags of these chicken nuggets should not eat them. You think you wouldn't have the warning if they were safe to eat. You shouldn't eat that. We're telling you it's got lead in it. They should either throw them away or return them to the store where they were purchased. Take them back to Walmart. Get your money back. They'll take almost anything back at Walmart. Photos of the packaging. You can go find all that stuff. Don't eat dinosaur chicken nuggets anyway. I can't imagine. I'm gonna have to look up and see how many chemicals are in these things now. And there's probably from the extra chemicals they put in them is processed in some facility that it has lead, and they got lead spilled into whatever additive in the breading or something. Don't eat stuff that lasts for 2 years. Stuff is not meant to have a shelf life that long. Good grief. Okay, let's see. This is kind of a strange one. Indictment unsealed. This is today. Yesterday. Indictment unsealed in the Southern District of Texas, charging James Robles, 70-year-old man from Weslaco, Texas, with operating a cash-only clinic in Houston that he used to sell prescriptions for controlled substances, according to court documents. The doctor licensed the practice, conspired with others to illegally prescribe oxycodone, hydrocodone, carisoprodol, all controlled substances with a substantial street value that were in high demand in the Houston black market. Operating from his cash-only Houston clinic, he allegedly sold prescriptions to crew leaders. Oh, he had this thing figured out. Crew leaders who recruited others to pose as patients. He filled their prescriptions at complicit pharmacies, so they were in on it too, and resold the drugs on the black market. As alleged, Robles often did not see or examine his purported patients before prescribing them opioids and other controlled substances. In just over 4 years, he has allegedly prescribed approximately 2.9 million pills of hydrocodone, 1.3 million oxycodones, and 1.1 million pills of carisoprodol. In less than 3 years of conspiracy, more than $2 million in cash was deposited into bank accounts controlled by Robles. The IRS didn't get him. He's charged with one count, just one. How did he not get out with like 40 counts of stuff? One count of conspiracy to distribute and dispense controlled substances, one count of distributing and dispensing controlled substances, and one count of maintaining a drug-involved premise. If convicted, he faces a maximum penalty of 20 years in prison on each count. He's 70 years old. I mean, if that happens, he probably won't come out. Assistant Attorney General of the Texas Department of Criminal Justice Division Special Agent in charge the DEA made the announcement. The DEA was investigating the case. Let's see. Fraud section. Nah, you don't care about all that. Blah, blah, blah. They have charged more than 6,200 defendants who collectively billed federal health care programs and private insurers more than $45 billion. In addition, Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, working in conjunction with the Office of the Inspector General for the Department of Health and Human Services, taking steps to hold providers accountable for their involvement in these schemes. And there's more people involved. I mean, this should have been like a big task force roundup. Look like that's what happened. Let's see. We have, they prefer their dinosaurs from Japan. Oh, wait, it's Eric. Prefers his dinosaurs from Japan. Good grief. Don't eat it. You probably do. Eric probably goes and buys I feel like Eric recluses, right? He's probably never leaves the house. So he probably makes his annual trip to Walmart and buys a year's worth of dino nuggets and top ramen in, bulk, great big old cases of stuff. And then, he just lives off that for the new. You probably have lead poisoning already. Maybe that's why he disappeared for a while. Lead poisoning. I don't know. Final break. We're back to wrap up the week, wrap up the show, head into the Easter weekend when we come back on the Chad Hasty Show.
The Chad Hasty Show can be heard all over West Texas. Weekdays from 5 to 7 p.m. Tune into News Talk 95.1 and 790 KFYO in Lubbock. News Talk 940 in Amarillo. News Talk 94.7 and 1470 KYYW in Abilene. And in Wichita Falls on News Talk 96.3 and 1290. The Chad Hasty Show. Make it a part of your drive home. Weekdays from 5 to 7 p.m.
When you see a car that's been in a bad crash, it's no accident. When it backs traffic up for miles, no accident. And if there's a fatality involved, somebody died. That's no accident either. A lot of the time, it was speeding. And it's no accident that speeding is a factor in more than 150,000 crashes every year in Texas, many of them fatal. So slow down, be safe, drive smart. A message from TxDOT.
Live local talk on Sundays. Reason, Religion, and Reality, a radio project of the Constitutionalist Society, LLC. Reason, Religion, and Reality brings you a panel of constitutionally minded, liberty-loving patriots covering topics from Supreme Court decisions, government actions including curriculum in schools, and attacks on the church. Catch the shows Sunday noon to 2 on News Talk 95.1 and 790 KFYO. Listen online at KFYO.com or on the KFYO app. Reason, Religion, and Reality.
If you've missed the Kim Commando Show, you've missed a lot.
When you get this all done, give us a call back. Which one actually worked the best? I'm not a betting woman, but, I am the digital goddess. So I'm going to go with the Adobe Podcast Enhance over Andrew's CapCut.
I like my job, so I'm going to agree with you.
America's digital goddess, Kim Commando.
Kim Commando, Saturday afternoons from 2 till 4 on KFYO.
A Social Security update. 70 million Americans collect Social Security benefits today, and millions more will join soon. Now, a new study finds 70% of Americans don't get the full benefits they deserve. But recipients can use simple strategies to boost Social Security benefits by as much as $188,000 over a lifetime. Social Security expert Michael Allen says it's true and reveals 5 key strategies to increase your benefits. It's all in his free special report. Newsmax calls the report your best guide for bigger Social Security benefits. Whether you're getting benefits or soon will, you need the Social Security report. Get it free. Call 800-999-9690. 800-999-9690. We'll text it to you right away, along with President Trump's act cutting your Social Security taxes. Call now, 800-999-9690. 800-999-9690. Text and data rates may apply.
Saving you money, I'm Hillary Barsky. If you want to leave the workforce early, you might want to consider several unexpected possible snags in your plan. First, you should have a clear idea of how much you'll need to save and try to set aside at least that much during your working years. According to the Motley Fool, have a safe withdrawal strategy in place. The 4% rule is one common approach where you withdraw 4% of your savings in your first year of retirement. Then you increase this amount slightly each year to counter inflation. It's supposed to make your retirement savings last 30 years. However, it doesn't always work as planned. That's why some people prefer to be more conservative and use the 3.5% or 3% rule. Another thing to consider is that you might have trouble accessing your savings if you're 59.5 if you plan to retire before this age. If a long retirement is something you really want, you really need to anticipate and prepare for the challenges that could arise. Saving you money, Hillary Barsky, Fox News.
After 98 years, we're still on the air. This is News Talk 95.1 FM and 790 AM KFYO.
Hey, welcome back to the Chad Hasty Show. Final segment, 806-682-790. Final text from Eric. He says, Happy Easter, Dino Nuggy family. I don't think we're your Dino Nuggy family, Eric. I don't think we are. Let's see. I want to wrap up with. Oh, I know. This one I just found. Let me see if I can. Let's see. Trump gives rare praise to persistent GOP foe after White House ballroom vote. President Trump gave a rare shout out to longtime critic Republican Kentucky Senator Rand Paul on Thursday after he voted to approve plans for the new White House ballroom. I'd like to thank the hardworking commissioners and staff of the National Capital Planning Commission who just voted overwhelmingly to build the magnificent 8-1 to approve the magnificent White House ballroom now rising on this hallowed ground. Trump wrote on Truth Social, I'm pleased to announce that even board member Senator Rand Paul, known as an extraordinarily difficult vote, voted a strong yes. I'm not sure it's a strong yes, it's a yes. Paul and Trump share a contentious relationship, including Paul being highly critical of Trump's tariff policies. A lot of questions about him. In Trump's military attacks on Iran in late March, he was the only Republican to vote in favor of War Powers Resolution aiming to limit the president's ability to continue foreign military intervention. Trump and Paul have been sparring since the 2015 GOP primary, where they clashed during the first Republican debate in August of 2015. Tension has flared since, including Trump calling Paul sick wacko just in November. The ballroom still faces legal hurdles. On Tuesday, a federal judge halted the project, ruling the construction of the 90,000 square foot ballroom must receive congressional approval. Trump said, hold my beer. Hold my Big Mac. Watch this. The President of the United States is the steward of the White House for future generations of first families. He is not, however, the owner, Leon wrote in a 35-page ruling instead of just saying, hey, stop, you can't do that. No statute comes close to giving the president the authority he claims to have. The National Capital Planning Commission proceeded with the vote despite the ruling, because they can do that, I think. The commission, Will Scharf said at the start of Thursday's meeting, the judge's ruling only prevented construction of the project. We'll move past that and continue our consideration of the East Wing modernization project. The ballroom, which is being funded by private donors, is slated to be completed by 2028. However, the project's end remains unknown as the Trump administration plans to appeal the judge's decision. Well, of course he will. Let's see if we can do a quick weekly wrap-up. I'm going to give you the titles of the biggest stuff in Texas. Harris County Civil Court judge draws statewide national attention for abusive behavior. We covered that one yesterday. Texas House and Senate priorities. There's some information out there. Let's see. Harris County Commissioner, Houston Rodeo quash resolution calling for Hidalgo's resignation. Of course they do. Dallas Independent School District approves free pre-K for all 3- and 4-year-olds. HUD sued over Houston Affordable Housing Project and located near toxic sites. The Humble Independent School District field trip takes students to Spanish Islamic Center Centro Islamico. Let's see. Texas man convicted rapist pleads guilty to involvement in online child abuse network. All right, let's see. One to finish up on. This one works. A federal judge found that prosecutors and local officials involved in the 22 arrests of a Texas woman over a self-induced abortion cannot be held liable for their actions. Leslie Gonzalez, formerly Leslie Herrera, was charged in January 2022 and arrested the following April after allegedly inducing the abortion of her child while 19 weeks pregnant. Starr County Memorial Hospital nurse turned her in after treating her following consumption of an abortifacient substance. After the case was presented to the grand jury, Gonzalez's indictment was drafted, resulting in the issuance of a warrant for her arrest. It's a very interesting case. Following her indictment for homicide, she spent 3 days in the Starr County jail before she was released on a $50,000 bond. The Starr County officials moved to dismiss the case just 4 days after she'd been arrested. Her indictment followed an increase in debate surrounding how abortion laws in Texas might be applied after a potential reversal of Roe v. Wade, which ended up occurring 2 months after Gonzalez was charged with murder. At the time, abortion was outlawed in Texas after 6 weeks, which Gonzalez's preborn child was well past the time of abortion. But Texas law has never found women liable for abortions, only those involved in obtaining her one. According to court documents, Starr County District Attorney This literally says, "Gotcha, Alan Ramirez." That's got to be a joke. I got to look that up now. Gotcha, Alan Ramirez. Somebody had to have been messing around with that. I mean, that's bad enough. We're going to pause here. Oh, it's real. It's real. Gotcha, Alan Ramirez. Oh, my goodness. Did he have his name changed when he became a DA? Gotcha. I'm sure it's pronounced something different. Apologized to Gonzalez following the dismissal for charges. He was later disciplined for his prosecution of the case and entered. How was the DA disciplined? Entered into an agreed judgment of probated suspension, which included a temporary suspension of his license. Gonzalez then went on to file a $1 million lawsuit against her prosecutors, Starr County, the county sheriff, Fuentes Ramirez, the ADA, citing false arrest, malicious prosecution, and conspiracy. So that's Tuesday. Judge Tipton found them to be not liable on the basis of qualified immunity doctrine, which the court document stated shields government officials from civil liability when their conduct is objectively reasonable in light of clearly established law when accused of violating the plaintiff's civil rights. Once an official raises a defense, the burden shifts to the plaintiff to show a genuine dispute of material facts on whether the official violated clearly established law. 51-page judgment reads, not determining whether Gonzalez's rights had indeed been violated, but instead confirming that the individual she sought to sue were protected by law. Tipton had rejected a request for dismissal of Gonzalez's case in July of 24 after defendant Starr County Ramirez filed the motion to proceed in April. Anyway, it's the first of, I believe, many cases that deal with going after the mother in an abortion case. I'd see it coming. Anyway, enjoyed being with you today. Always do. Chad will be back Monday in the hot seat. I hope you have a wonderful Easter. Cristo Onesti to all of you. See you down the road.
I'm coming home. I'm coming home. And everything is gonna be fine. I'm coming home, baby, now. Expect to see me now anytime. When you're in my arms, I'll be fine.
The Chad Hasty Show, a presentation of Texas Town Square Media Network. The views and opinions expressed during the Chad Hasty Show are not necessarily the views of this station's staff, management, advertisers, or Town Square Media.